All right, so let's get into this. Now, there's a CEO, former CEO, that's been arrested today. Oh, let me make sure. Let me take this off and reload it real quick. One second. The former CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch, Mike Jeffries, he's been arrested today on the same thing. Look at this. He look weird. I'm sorry. This dude look weird. Mike Jeffries, he's the former CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch. It says he's been arrested for trafficking and interstate prostitution. It says he's been arrested in West Palm Beach, Florida. Matthew Smith and James Jacobson of Wisconsin were also arrested in connection with these charges. They're expected to appear in federal court in Florida and Wisconsin today and arraigned on a later date in the Eastern District of New York. So they got arrested in Florida, but they got to go up to New York. What that sound like to y'all? They go into federal court, and then they got to go back up to New York. See, Jeffries was the CEO of the popular clothing brand from 1992 to 2014. If you guys remember, let me see if I can find it. I don't know if I can find it, but who was the other executive? The Macy's executive. If you guys remember, they said Diddy has been being investigated since like 92. They said they kicked up the investigation and started putting money into it in 2008. But the crimes go back to the 90s. And if you remember, I'm going to show you guys that in a second. Let's get through this one, and I'll show you guys the other one. I got it right here. So Jeffries was the CEO of the popular clothing brand between 92 and 2014. Jeffries, Smith, and Jacobson each faced a single count of sex trafficking, as well as 15 counts of interstate prostitution tied to 15 alleged victims. A federal indictment alleges Jeffries, along with Smith, his romantic partner, Jacobson, who's described as a recruiter, operated in international trafficking and prostitution business. It alleges they organized sex events in England, France, Italy, Morocco, New York, and St. Bart's. They employed coercive, fraudulent, and deceptive tactics in connection with the recruitment, hiring, transportation, obtaining, maintaining, solicitation, and payment of the men to engage in commercial sex, bro. Coercive is the main word. That's the first one they use, coercive. I mean, you try to convince these people to do something based on, saying that they'll give an opportunity, or they'll give money, or they'll do something. They're using coercion. The men who attended the events allegedly were led to believe that it could lead to modeling opportunities or help their careers, or that not complying with the request for certain acts during the events could harm their careers. So they were having their own little freak offs. I'm sure Diddy is, I believe with all the information we got, that Diddy had to give some information on these dudes. The men were required to sign NDAs and surrender their wallets and cell phones during the events. See, that's the way they played it. Don't this sound like a Diddy case? Don't this sound just like Diddy case? You sign an NDA, you come in here, surrender your cell phone and surrender your wallets. I just saw a video yesterday. Of Diddy taking cell phones. Check it out. So don't this sound just like a similar thing? Don't this sound similar? Hit the like button if you just came in, please. Hit the like button if you're in here, if you've been in here for a while. If you haven't hit the like button yet, please hit it. Press that thumbs up for me. Helps the video go to more people. The men were required to sign NDAs, surrender their wallets and cell phones. These executives and these people, they just so stupid. Like, y'all don't even know. They don't even realize if you committing a crime, bro, an NDA don't mean nothing. It's thrown out as soon as you're arrested for the crime. So those people are still going to be witnesses against you. Y'all sign an NDA so it can't be a civil suit. I get that, but like, it don't really mean nothing if you're committing a crime. Jeffries, Smith, and Jacobson also allegedly recruited, hired, and paid an exclusive set of household staff to facilitate and supervise the free calls. The staff provided Jeffries, Smith, and the men who attended alcohol, muscle relaxants. Don't this sound like a Diddy case? Alcohol, muscle relaxers, known as poppers, and lubricant, Viagra and condoms, among other items. Either Jacobson or the staff paid the men for attending the SEX events. Breon Peace, the U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of New York, said in a news conference that Jeffries and Smith. So if they got this is why this has to be Diddy got to be involved snitching on these people. Gotta be, because how are they arrested in Florida? All this is happening in Florida. They go into federal court in Florida, then they got to get transferred to the Eastern District of New York. Why? Unless they part of this RICO that Diddy going through. Said in a news conference that Jeffries and Smith spent millions on the sex trafficking enterprise, from paying staff, paying for travel, and paying to maintain secrecy. So they've been doing this behind the scenes. Peace said the operation used a referral system and interview process during which the men that were allegedly preyed upon were not informed about the details of the events before attending. So they didn't even know what they were going to do. They just got men, they paying men, and then when they get there, they finding out like, hey, bro, bend over. It's crazy. It said these were called tryouts. During those tryouts of potential candidates, Jacobson typically had candidates first engage in commercial sex acts with him, the indictment said. At the events, the men were pressured to drink and consume poppers, the muscle relaxers, and on more than one occasion, when men did not or could not consent, Jeffries and Smith violated the bodily integrity of these men by subjecting them or continuing to subject them to invasive and violent contact by body parts and other objects. We just saw the lawsuit the other day where old girl was saying that Diddy put a TV remote up her. This whole case that these white guys got arrested for today sound like a Diddy case. It sounds like the same thing. This is a quote from the Eastern District of New York's U.S. attorney, federal attorney for the Eastern District of New York. He said, powerful individuals for too long have trafficked and abused for their own sexual pleasure young people with few resources and a dream of securing a successful career in fashion or entertainment. So the feds in New York is on it. They like, nah, we taking down all of y'all. He said powerful individuals for too long, this is the U.S. attorney, have trafficked and abused for their own pleasure young people with few resources and a dream of securing a successful career in fashion or entertainment. They tired of it. Peace said he warned anyone who thinks they can, this is the lawyer, the U.S. attorney, he warns anyone who thinks they can exploit or coerce by using the so-called casting couch system that they should prepare to trade that couch for a bed in federal prison. He own them. Basically, we getting all y'all up out of here, bro. Dude said we getting all of them. We got Diddy. You know what they doing in that office too. You know what they doing when Diddy come through there, through that federal building. Look, man, you can do 360 to life. You could do 300 years and you could die and all these guys can keep doing what they're doing, or you could do 15, 20 years and you can give us 50 names and we can get all these guys off the street. And we'll give this one life instead of you. We don't want you. We want everybody. You know that's how they talking to him. And Diddy, oh, you don't want to do it? Diddy like, nah, probably. It's lawyers like, we ain't telling on nobody. That's a death sentence. Okay, go back to your cell then. You know what? I believe the next step is gonna be. Hey, maybe we just, if you don't start telling names, maybe we just, arrest your sons. I don't know. That's how the feds work, bro. That's how the feds are. They'll come and say something like that, trip you, like, oh, then Diddy going back to his cell, he ain't got no bail. All he doing is thinking all day. You don't know how long, if you've never been to jail, you don't know how long a day is. You don't really know how long a day is if you've never been to jail. When you go to jail, you realize 24 hours is a lot of time. That's a long day. So all day he's sitting on that bunk in that cell. He in 23 and 1. He coming out for an hour a day. And in reality, if you've been locked up, if you ever been 23 and 1, I have, then you're not really coming out every single day for that 1 hour. Sometimes they give you that 1 hour. Sometimes they don't. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they allow you out for the hour. Sometimes they don't. Most times they don't. You might be on lockdown for 2 months and don't get to come out your cell at all for 2 months, except for a shower. One at a time. So he's sitting there, Diddy going back to his cell, thinking about everything that the feds told him today. And F what my lawyer's talking about, because my lawyers ain't doing their job. They ain't getting me out of jail. So why would I listen to them? He's sitting there thinking about it. And the feds is using every mental tactic that they can use on him. Man, give them the worst food. They need Diddy to snitch. The police aren't really great at their job. They need people to tell. They do a good job when people start telling. So they need Diddy to tell. So this whole case with this CEO, this fashion CEO that just got arrested, it sounds like a Diddy case. It sounds like Diddy went in there, was like, I know some things. I know who else was doing, I learned this from this person. I learned how to do that from this person. What else? He in there like Frank Lucas. Y'all remember the scene where Denzel sitting there? And Diddy in there just like that right now. Y'all remember the scene with Frank Lucas? We'll get back to the article in a second. Do y'all remember the scene when Frank Lucas got arrested and he's sitting across from the cop? Let me see if I can find the picture of that scene. This one right here. Y'all remember this scene in the movie when Denzel's sitting across from Richie, and he like, "What you got? What you got, Richie?" He like, "I got Harlem. I got Harlem. I took care of Harlem. Harlem gonna take care of me. You can believe that." And the cop like, "I got more than that. I got a line of people around the corner. They want to talk about everything you did to them." That's the situation Diddy in. Let's get back to this article. So the U.S. attorney said, "I warn anyone who thinks they can exploit or coerce by using the so-called casting couch system that they should prepare to trade that couch for a bed in federal prison. Powerful individuals for too long have trafficked and abused people for their own sexual pleasure, young people specifically." He said, with few resources and a dream of securing a successful career in fashion and entertainment. He's tired of it. The news of Jeffries' arrest, this other CEO, comes 1 year after BBC News published an explosive report that said Jeffries exploited men at parties he hosted. That report said 12 men described attending or organizing events that includes these SEX acts for Jeffries. So he got 12 people testifying against him too. And his partner, Matthew Smith. The feds went in there like, "Diddy, do you know anything about this case?" It's all in New York. It's all in fashion. Diddy was huge in fashion. Sean John and all that. Jeffries' attorney, Brian Bieber, told NBC News at the time that Jeffries would not comment on reports about his personal life. Abercrombie and Fitch said the company was appalled and disgusted by the allegations, so they got away from him. His lawyer, this guy's lawyer, on Tuesday in a response to the arrest said, "We will respond in detail to the allegations after an indictment is unsealed and when appropriate, but plan to do so in the courthouse, not in the media." Shortly after that, the CEO was sued for allegedly turning a blind eye to the the company was sued for turning a blind eye to the misconduct. Today's arrests are monumental. This is a quote. "Today's arrests are monumental for the aspiring male models who were victimized by these individuals." This is a quote from one of the attorneys involved in the class action lawsuit. It says, "Their fight for justice doesn't end here. We look forward to holding Abercrombie and Fitch liable for facilitating this terrible conduct and ensuring that this cannot happen again."